Hello everybody, Trevor here, and welcome to another top video. As we all know, Thomas Wooden Railway is my second most favorite Thomas toy range in all of history. I love their magnetic couplings, the detailed wooden features, and best of all, it teaches kids about motor and cognitive skills. However, like other good toy lines in the Thomas franchise, it has some duds here and there. So today, we'll be looking at the top 10 absolute worst classic wooden railway items in history. For this list, I'm only going to include those from 1992 all the way to early 2017. So that means no Thomas Wood items or any of the items that were cancelled at the time. And no, I'm not going to include any knockoffs either. So without wasting any more time and money, let's get this video chugging. Number 10. The original BERTRAM. In the year 2000, BERTRAM was first introduced in wooden form as part of a 3-pack known as BERTRAM with Scrap Cars. When I was a little kid, I thought this was a factory error on Learning Curve's part, but years later, I learned that BERTRAM was originally going to be a tank engine in the show, but because of budget issues, they had to repaint Duke's model dark brown with Smudger's face added on. Which begs the question, why couldn't they repaint Sir Handel's model instead? But thankfully, BERTRAM was reintroduced in 2016 as his tender engine counterpart, just as he should be. Number 9. The original Diesel 199 aka Spam Can. I'll be honest, at first, I liked this when I was little, but looking back at it now, it's not as good as I remembered it. I mean, look at this! His model has sharp corners on the sides including around his face. But thankfully, they reintroduced Diesel 199 in 2005 to make him look more accurate to his original counterpart from the books. I'm also surprised that they brought him back again in 2013, but with rounded edges. If I had to pick one or the other, I'd say that the 2005 version is the best. Number 8. The 2005 version of COLDY. Remember the COLDY and the apple orchard cars I was talking about in the last top 3 video briefly? Well, the only problem I have with that pack is that not only COLDY's mostly made of plastic, but also his rear face looks too large. In my opinion, it's much worse than his original 1996 counterpart, which was the very first wooden railway model I've ever gotten as a kid. Luckily, they reintroduced him again in 2015, but with an added number 4 above his rear face. Speaking of faces at the back of the engine, I'm assuming they add that in the original books just to help the engine see from behind and to have a better lookout. Number 7. The original Chinese Dragon. I know I'm going to get some hate for this, but I actually think the 2005 reissue of the Chinese Dragon looks a lot better than the original 1995 version because not only it's more accurate to the TV series, but his head can bob up and down, which I thought was pretty cool. This one, however, looks kind of boring, not to mention that the face looks wrong, and that the tail is made of thread. Yeah, that's why I donated to charity and kept the new one instead. Number 6. The original Henry from the 90s. Like the old 1996 version of Diesel 199, this model is worse than I remember, and that's mainly because of his tender. It doesn't look anything like his TV series counterpart. Look, I'm sure they did this to cut costs, but at the same time, they could have made his tender not look like a Fowler one, not to mention that his boiler looks too skinny. I guess he really took Thomas's advice about exercising and losing weight.
Rubbish, said Thomas. You're too fat, you need exercise.
Number 5. The original 2016 version of Ashima. This one is wasted potential. It may not be as bad as the wood version when it comes to the lack of a dome, but it's still bad nonetheless. Firstly, they got her dome wrong. It's supposed to look like this, not this. And worst of all, her wheels were black instead of dark blue. How lazy is that? Hopefully in the new 2022 line, they'll bring back Ashima and give her the correct colored wheels as well as the right dome. Number 4. The Scrap Monster. This model was made to promote the 2014 special Tale of the Brave, and it's possibly the weakest wooden railway model at the time. Why? Well, by the looks of it, it has 2 flatbeds instead of 1 with plastic bogies, which they should have carved into earlier, by the way. It just makes the take and play version look perfect in comparison. Number 3. Catherine. This one is bizarre. I think this is worse than the 2005 version of COLDY in terms of accuracy. I mean, what were they thinking with this model of Catherine? According to the Wooden Railway Wiki, she's mistakenly modeled after one of the trucks from the Mountain Engines book but repainted orange at the front instead of brown. In other words, they took part of the truck in wooden railway form and combined it with Catherine. Number 2. The Volcano Deluxe Set. When it comes to wooden railway sets by Fisher-Price, most of them are either good or just plain mediocre. But for me, the worst one had to be the Volcano Deluxe set with Thomas. First of all, why couldn't they make a special Thomas variant where he's covered in soot and ashes, like from a volcano? Second of all, the volcano itself looks like that new Playrail Doki Doki Mountain set from 2021. How lazy is that? And furthermore, when you push the button on the volcano to erupt the dinosaur fossil, it doesn't pop out properly. If you want more information on this set, I suggest you go check out jlouvier's review of it on his YouTube channel. Link will be provided in the description below. Before I get to my number 1 pick, here are some dishonorable mentions. The 2016 reissue of The Flying Scotsman. I was going to include him on the list, but for one thing, he got beat out by BERTRAM. Secondly, I can understand why they decided to reintroduce the 2013 version of the character but with inner lip wheels, but at the same time, they could have made him a new CGI face for his model as well as added smoke deflectors. The original Cranky of 1999. The only problem I have with this model is that he's painted gray instead of green. But other than that, he does look cool and he functions really well, just like his later versions. Most of the 2011 reissues of certain characters. As bad as they are, but they would have been numbers 4 or 5 because their creepy early CGI faces are minor faults. And besides, they already fixed this problem in 2013. I also wanted to say that the 2011 Diesel is the only good one in the Tomy era because it's more accurate to the CGI series than the rest of them. The original Rheneas of 1997. As much as I don't like it as much as the 2012 or 2013 versions, but it would have been number 6 because I believe they chose Carmine instead of Vermilion is because of the magazine series, which is strange, but oh well. The lead paint crisis items. All I can say is, they do look nice, but the only problem I have with them is that they have lead paint, which makes people sick, so you guys better watch out. And the number 1 absolute worst classic wooden railway item is the bubble loader. Not only that this is the worst wooden railway item in Thomas history, but it's the absolute worst destination. There are many reasons why. 1. It's so gimmicky! Sure, the detailing looks nice, but that doesn't excuse its flaws. 2. It doesn't include a cargo car. 3. You can only fit this one particular cargo piece inside of it. The other cargo pieces don't fit into that slot. 4. If you lose that one cargo piece, then you are SOL. Again, if you want to hear more information on how bad this model is, check out jlouvier's YouTube channel and watch his review of it. As for me, I honestly think this destination could have worked if it was a retexture of the original barrel loader from 1997. That way, it wouldn't be as useless as before. In fact, this destination is so bad that I refuse to buy it. And those are all the reasons why it deserves to be the number 1 spot as the absolute worst classic wooden railway item in history. Now tell me in the comments section on what are your least favorite wooden Thomas trains. Do you agree with my list, or do you have your own personal preference? Join me in next time where I'll be discussing the top 10 best classic wooden railway items in history. This is Trevor Davis, signing off.